Oh, what's up, ballers? Welcome to episode 5 now of the AllDriveNoDrop podcast with Tickle My Pickle. AllDriveNoDrop, David from Tickle My Tickle. David, how are you doing today? I can't do it all. Do you prefer Mr.Tickle or David? What are people on the street calling you these days?
Uh, Most people call me Mr. Tickle. So fun fact, my first day at work, I ran into someone in the cafeteria and he was like, "Yo, Mr. Tickle, what's up? You're that guy from the channel." And I was just like, I was at work, so I was like, "Yo, cut that out."
No, are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, this is the most random place to like run into someone.
That's
But
funny.
shout out to LA if you're watching this.
I
It was
don't
actually really
have.
cool to
I've
see
had
you.
a few people come up to me that I've never met before. And I've seen the videos. But having the name Mr. Tickle that just
Yeah,
come up and call you Mr. Tickle. That's good. Oh man. So how you doing today?
good.
Good.
Weather's been good this weekend, so can't complain.
Oh yeah. Weather has been great here too, and I think it's continuing next week. We'll see how long it lasts. I played my last day. Well, last outdoor day at my main court on Friday. They take the nets down. There's
Mm,
other courts that don't take the nets down year round here, but the courts that I play on, they take the nets down for the whole winter and don't put them back up until like middle of April. So we miss a lot of
gotcha.
good days still. I mean, you still have a few days here and there. Like I remember this February, I think we had like 10 or 15 days where people were out playing. So we missed some time out there, but what can you do? They want to preserve the nets.
Yeah. Also, if you like are out there in the cold, you're risking breaking the balls even more.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an issue. I see. That's when I started using the Selkirk balls
Yeah.
or early this winter, and I really like those because they weren't breaking. But I know
Mhm.
people, they go out of round. But in the cold, it wasn't really as big of an issue for me. But yeah, like if you use Dura, obviously it breaks. Franklin's are okay, but they still break.
Mhm.
Um, and then I don't know. I don't play it like 40 plus is really where I would play. If it goes below 40, I don't play. But
Yeah,
I play
because it's
indoors
also not
most
good
of the
for the
time
paddle
anyway.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably dangerous for the paddles too. Um, so just kind of recap, or not recap, but preview what we're doing today. I'm going to talk about my tournament, but that's probably going to be towards the end. I played with the Ripple, the Ronbus Ripple R2. I'll talk about that. We're going to talk about this new USAP testing. Basically, it's testing for power. They also have a spin test. Not really going to talk about the spin test. I don't know too much about it, and I don't think that their numbers really mean anything to us because we don't really have any references for them.
Yeah.
But this power testing is going to shake things up a little bit, I think, and we don't have complete information, but we'll get into that. And then we have a whole bunch of paddle updates to talk about, so we'll get into that. We're talking about the 11.624 alphas, some Gherkins, and then some Zero Sapphire, Chorus Fire and Shapes, Neonic Flares, Prime X, and the Flow Prime X, and some Honolulu updates. So we'll get to all that, but our main topic today is how this USAP stuff is going to affect people. And we still don't have all the information. I'm just going to kind of give what I have. So I want to say this was like 4 days ago. I just got a lot of messages. I won't say from who, but USAP sent an email out to mostly the manufacturers, and that information slowly started to circulate because they are going to implement their new PB core testing
Hmm.
November 1st. So November 1st is going 2024. So this was like super short notice. They've been like getting manufacturers ready for this, but they didn't really make it clear that it was going to be so soon. So I'm going to read kind of one of the excerpts of this email because basically a little backstory for people that don't know. USAP right now does like I think they nickname it like deflection testing. So they're testing like the stiffness of the paddle,
Hmm.
uh, and now they're going to be testing exit velocity. So they're going to be testing like how the ball comes off the paddle, which makes sense. You want to measure the speed of the ball, colliding with the paddle because that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. Like that gives you the best results. And also that similar test, they use it for like baseball, softball, and because I mean that's really the best way to measure how fast the ball is coming off something is to measure it coming off it. Who would have thought? But let me just read this excerpt here from what they said. bear with me. So the USAP rulebook will be updated to include requirements for paddleball coefficient of restitution PB core testing as part of the suite of certification tests. This new PB core test will characterize and measure the trampoline response of the paddleball collision and develop a test metric to define power of the paddle. The new PB core test method will provide quantitative measures of paddle dynamic performance that may be used for comparison purposes between paddles. This pickleball paddle test has been in development since December 2023, and is based on a similar test currently used for baseball and softball bats. Standard test methods for measuring high-speed bat performance. As demonstrated to the manufacturers at the Industry Day Open House in May 2024, we are now ready to implement this dynamic test. So they did have an Industry Day back in May 2024 where they had a whole bunch of results for paddles too. Mm-hmm. And this is where things kind of get murky. Right now they are going to have a number that all paddles have to be below, and it's going to be 0.44. So all paddles tested November 1st and beyond need to be below 0.44. In May, they had 3 paddles that they showed that they tested that were above 0.44. I imagine in May we're talking about for sure the Gearbox Pro Power. Yeah. I don't see how that wouldn't be above 0.44. Like just out of the paddles that are above the number, I'm assuming it's the Gearbox Pro Power. Mm-hmm. And then at that time, I'm assuming one of the Yola Gen 3s were on there. Yeah. Maybe that includes the mod. Probably. But not sure. And then the third one, I'm not really sure what it would be, unless the Ripple was tested at the time, but I'm not sure what the third one would have been. Any guesses on that? I feel like that one's kind of hard to pinpoint back in May.
Wouldn't be the Paddle Tech, right?
I don't think so. I mean, was the Oni that far back?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah?
Because I used the Oni in my spring league. It could have been the Oni.
You know what? The Oni was around, because I remember now I was at Lifetime still in April. So Oni, I must have been testing the Oni around that. It could have been the Oni. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, 3 tested above that limit. And so anything above 0.44 now, which there could be other ones now because that was back in May, has until April 1st, 2025 to sunset those paddles. So USAP said they're going to work with those manufacturers to help retire those paddles by April 1st, 2025. The problem is we don't have any concrete numbers so like a 0.44 for their PB core testing doesn't mean anything to us, right? We don't have, I can't say like 0.44 is a Gearbox Pro Power or 0.35 is a Honolulu J2K. We don't have those numbers, and the paddle manufacturers don't have those numbers. There was some paddle manufacturers I was talking to, and some owners, and they were very surprised by this news, and none of them have had any knowledge of what these numbers associate with power for, just giving examples of different paddles. And that's kind of where we're looking for some information. Even companies that have had paddles approved in the last 3 weeks, they didn't get this number yet. They didn't get any numbers associated with this PB core testing, which you would think they would be doing right now.
Yeah.
So maybe they have been doing it. They just didn't release those numbers to the companies because they didn't want that information to leak. I'm not sure, but it just seems like if you already have the testing in place, why aren't you testing it right now and reporting that to companies so that they know what so they can start associating those numbers with actual performance.
Yeah.
So that's that. Any comments on that so far?
So you're saying they have the numbers, but they're just not telling the companies right now. Like they're waiting till November 1st.
See, that's not clear, and I think the problem is too. I think they're working. So from this is all rumors. From what I understand, they are working with some of the bigger companies like Selkirk, more closely. So I think Selkirk probably has these numbers already, for their paddles.
Okay.
But so November 1st is the new testing. So if you're already tested and certified, you're okay. And then this is where it kind of gets murky. I don't know if you need, I guess you're going to need to maybe like send your paddle for recertification, because unless they have paddles on hand, because they said you're going to have to sunset a paddle above 0.44 on April 1st, 2025. But like, how would they know all the paddles on the market that they've already certified, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's one part. Like, I'm kind of unclear. Like, do these companies have to put their paddles back in testing? I don't know. So that's kind
if
of
so,
murky.
like, do they have to pay another cost to do that?
That's
another
another
issue.
question, because we do have pricing increases for testing. So
Mm.
this would, I mean, I don't know if this is what their intention is, but you would think all these paddles that have already been certified, would they need to get recertified or and pay that price? Or it's like, hey, this is like a one-time thing. Like, if we think your paddle's hot, we're going to ask you to send it in. Because, like, I mean, there's a lot of paddles they don't really need to test this for. But maybe they'll, like, request certain paddles. Like, I assume they're going to want to test, like, Engage, Paddle Tech. Obviously they're going to test the Yola Mod, the Ripples. Anything that's kind of classified as a power paddle, I think they're going to test. But then, like, I assume, like, some of the smaller brands, like, super small, like, say, like, the Pickle and Electo, like, could they slide under the radar? I don't think it's from you reviewed the Electo, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was
it's not even close to Gen 3.
It's not as close, so maybe they slide under the radar. But let's say that they were more powerful, but maybe that would gain attention. I don't know. But they're so small that they kind of slide under the radar. So I don't know how any of that stuff's gonna work out. I do think that there will be some paddles that will be banned. April 1st, 2025, if, like, I'm reading this information correctly, like, that's what they're saying, this, if it's above. And I think that there are some probably above the limit, but we don't really know. So we'll wait and see, and I think the prime candidates would be the Mod, the Gearbox, and the Ripples. Because those are just the hottest paddles right now. I don't think it's going to affect, like, Paddle Techs, the Engage Pursuit Pros. And it might not affect the Gearbox Pro Power, the Ripples, or what else I was saying? I don't know. The Gearbox Pro Power and the Ripples and the Mod. It might not affect them. Maybe that's the limit, which, that it would just be good to know what these, and I think we will get these numbers, but when, I'm not sure. I guess after November 1st, people will start getting that report back on their testing, though. So maybe we'll start seeing those numbers. Like, I think Neonic, maybe we'll get, like, numbers for the flare and flow. I'm not sure. But we'll see. So, and then in November 1st, 2026, no, November 1st, 2025, they are lowering the limit to 0.43. But, I mean, who knows what 0.44 to 0.43 means, right? Like, is that drastic? Is it? I mean, I assume it must be, like, somewhat significant if they're going to do it. So, power is going to be capped and is going down, which I'm personally happy about, because, like, I think you don't want anything getting hotter than the stuff we have now. I think it will be challenging to innovate the paddles, but people keep doing it. So I think that we'll see different technology doing different things, but power looks like it's going to be capped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same page. I think it's probably a good thing, because I think people also need to remember, like, it's not really it shouldn't be classified as really a competitive sport, because it's supposed to be for, like, all ages, and people. The whole point was everyone could play together, everyone could learn easily, and now it has been trending a bit towards getting a bit too competitive, where it's actually dangerous now for even kids and, like, older players. So lowering that power, it's not just like, oh, we need to get good. It's like, no, we need to be, safe for people as well.
Dude, so I'm not going to talk about the tournament now, but let's just say there is quite a few mods in the tournament today, including some, like, double mod teams, and I almost got my head taken off a few times. But hey, no headshots today. The only time I got hit was in the leg, and I'm like, that's on an overhead. I get hit in the leg pretty much every time I play, so you gotta expect that. Okay, the prices. So the prices increased quite a bit, but I don't think these prices are outrageous. A new paddle is 4,500.
Okay.
I think that's I mean, like, I know I forgot what the exact price was for the before, but and then similarity testing 1,750, ball certification 2,500. So I did see
What's
some
the similarity testing?
similarity testing. I think it's like when you have a like different shapes. So like you have the same tech,
Mm,
but you have
okay.
different shapes. I believe that's
Gotcha.
similarity testing. Someone will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I think they needed to increase their prices to have a barrier to entry, but also have more money to do to do better testing because obviously
Mm,
they're falling behind in testing. So I don't think these prices are outrageous. I think this helps create a little bit of a barrier, but like if you really wanted to get into this business, I mean, 4,500 for one paddle and similarity testing is 1,750. It's not like it's going to stop you from getting into the paddle game. So
yeah.
I'm okay with it. Obviously, it gets quite pricey if you start going with a ton of paddles, but I think you've seen successful companies come in here and they go for a flagship paddle at first, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, just go for a flagship paddle. You don't need a big lineup. You need a good flagship paddle. And if you are looking for advice, I would start with a hybrid shape flagship paddle. That's it.
Mm,
If you want my advice. Um, but not if you're looking to market to tickle. So,
yeah.
but that's just the most common shape. I was I was going through all my paddles today, and I realized I'm like, damn, like all these are hybrid shapes. Like lately, I mean, there have been other stuff, but like a majority have been hybrid shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I have on all this new USAP stuff. I'm sure there's going to be more information coming forward. I just thought it was important to talk about because it could change the landscape a bit, and we'll see if any paddles actually get sunset on April 1st, 2025. But
Yeah. I'm definitely curious about that. Like what they're gonna do about like existing paddles.
yeah, that will be an interesting one because before they had an 18-month rule, right? Like you will give you 18 months notice. So this, unless they've already, I mean, I guess they could have given notice already, and this is like the 18 months notice is coming. I don't know. So we'll see about that. More to come on that. I don't have any other information on it, but that, I mean, I think it's a good thing that they're going to cap the power. Like, I
Hmm.
know people want it. Some people want it reduced more than what's out there. I think at least if we cap it at this, then at least we have some knowledge that like we don't need to keep worrying about the power increasing and increasing because right now it's already, I think it's too much. But it's like I said. I think I talked about last time on my best power paddle video. It's really split about like where people want power capped.
Yeah.
So come at me in the comments. That's fine. Do you have anything else on that?
No, I'm just just agreeing with you there on the capping power. I'm on the same page there, so they'll have to go at me in the comments as well.
Right. I like it. Let's go on to talk about some paddles. You wanted to give an update on the 11.624 alphas. I don't have anything to say on this, so I'm gonna let you take it away.
Yeah, just wanted to provide. I guess they also sent an email out to the ambassadors, but figured it'd be good for like the general public to just kind of have an understanding of what the alphas were. Like if you don't follow that Discord or the Pickleball Studio Discord channel frequently with the 11.624 thread, but basically they came out with the alphas, which are like a bit poppier. I think they reminded me a bit of the paddle tech, at least the alpha ones. They had that in that longer Hirachi shape, that long handle, elongated, and that one was mainly for his pros. So some of the local pros in our area, like you'll see them carrying them around, but like he had a limited run where he gave it to some of the ambassadors were able to pick it up. And then there were talks about the Alpha 2, and he sent that one over to me. So I tried out the Monarch shape, and that one was good. Like it felt like it was a bit more muted compared to the CFC version, but overall just had more power. So I hit that, really liked it, sent him my feedback, and then I checked Discord the next day. He's like, "Yeah, that paddle's not going to see the light of day." So it's mainly like those paddles were just for like their type of beta testing.
Okay.
So both of those were like, okay, if you wanted an Alpha 2, you can pick it up for like, I think it was like $50. And then it's not going to be approved, but you can like give me your thoughts. So it's just like a fun thing to have. So it was basically his version of the Selkirk Labs, which I thought was pretty interesting. But he only went for approval on the Alpha 1s, but not the Alpha 2s. So either way, it was pretty cool how he let people just demo these paddles, give feedback, and then test out these prototypes. And then eventually he's coming out with the Rocketship, which is just going to be upgraded tech from both the Alpha 1 and Alpha 2s. So yeah, I just wanted to provide that like information to you guys.
Okay, that's cool. That I like that he's kind of doing like a mini Selkirk Labs program, get all that feedback, provide people with a lot cheaper paddles than the 300. Is still do 333 for the Selkirk.
Yeah, it's still 333.
So you get to pay a huge price to help Selkirk develop a paddle. So you're not only working for free, you're paying to work. But this one did a great deal with a $50 paddle, and you actually get to get in the ground floor. I think that's a much better program. Like you get an actual value for your paddle, and then give them a little feedback. Which I mean, most of the people are like excited to give their feedback on the new stuff. So
a lot of them are just like they're paddle nerds because they're being sold to the ambassadors. They're in that Discord. Yeah. So these are people that just want to test it out.
Cool, I like it. That's a great thing. I hope more companies do that, because I mean, his thread in Discord is easily the most popular thread. I think. I mean, maybe the Yola one, but I don't go in there. But yeah, for how like the company size compared to like the other companies, 11624 has diehard fans, like for sure.
Yeah, David's always in that Discord, and I hate clicking on that. They're like, I gotta catch up on so much because you're responding to every person in here.
Yeah, I just scroll to what's latest, because like I go in there and it's like too many messages missed. I'm like, I can't. You guys are too hardcore fans in here. Like I can't do it. Yeah. But props to them. Like I love that there's so much passion like for 11624. And I'll be the first one to say, when I first heard about them, like when I really just didn't give them the time of day at the beginning, because I'm like, oh, this name's so stupid. But hey, it turned out to work out. So
yeah,
and they have great paddles. Anything else on the alphas?
Nothing on them. I think he's just getting that Rocketship ready, his new power paddle.
Okay. Well, let's move on to. I mean, we don't have much to talk about on the Gherkins. But do you have that Gherkin handy? So, Gherkin sent these silicone paddles to me a while ago, and then they said, "Hold up, we're gonna redevelop them." So I waited. I just got them in the mail. I haven't hit with them yet. I plan on bringing the elongated one tomorrow. Probably the Widebody too. But so they got a Widebody hybrid elongated. First silicone edge guard. I think they're only company with the silicone edge guard. And I'm like, hey, why aren't you working with Tickle My Pickle? Your company is Gherkin. It doesn't make any sense. So they sent him the Gherkins. That right there is that the elongated?
No, so the shipment got split up. So I got the that value brand he has, like the $99 lineup.
Yeah.
And then one of the silicones, which is the hybrid, but then the elongated and standard are coming in the next package.
Nice. Yeah, so I don't remember the price on the silicones right now, but
like 144, I think.
144. Okay, and then they do have a lineup. I think they're thermoformed for the $99 ones too. Yeah. And I've hit the Widebody one. Felt pretty solid for the $99 price. I got to give those some more time. But yeah, I like the edge guard. It feels nice.
Yeah.
It looks pretty
cool. I don't know how it plays yet, but
yeah, we'll find out soon. But it looks pretty cool. I actually like the design on them too. You want to hold that up? Yeah, it's not anything like complicated, but I like the lines. And the colors are really nice. What do I got behind me? Do I have it behind me?
Yep, there we go.
Oh yeah, I got the blue one. I think this is the hybrid. It's called the Quantum. All right, I can't.
Yeah, that's the one I'm holding.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a Quantum. I think it's like the Spectre, and I don't remember the other name. But I don't mind the name. I like the naming scheme. I just got to remember it. I can't there's so many names to these paddles. I can't keep them all in my head sometimes. So we'll check out the Gherkins soon.
Yeah.
They come in like I think when you order each one, it comes in a box, right? Like I think they
Yeah,
send
there's a
it to
lot
you
of
in a
stuff in there.
box. It comes with a paddle eraser. I don't know what other swag it comes with. Like I got stickers and like a lanyard with a pickleball paddle like keychain. I don't know if that
Yeah,
comes
stuff.
with the box or not, but box is nice. I like it when they come with the box. It's pretty cool.
Also, it's nice they like actually put the swing weight and twist weight, at least for maybe just the
Yeah, I
reviewer
wonder if
paddles.
they do put the swing weight and twist weight for everyone, or is it just the reviewers? Because sometimes I get that from other companies too, but I'm like I don't
Yeah.
know if they do that for everyone. I'll have to ask. I'll make a
It's a
note.
good way to see if my graffiti is calibrated. I just measure it
Yeah,
against this.
or you never know if theirs is calibrated right.
Yeah. We don't
I
know who's wrong.
I don't know if they care, but I may have helped them get familiar with the graffiti once upon a
Mm.
time. I guess I already said it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is a little tricky to get used to if you've
Yeah.
never used a graffiti. It's crazy how many people in the Discord have graffitis, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend going to buy one if you just mess around with paddles on your own. I'll just go on feel, but if you do enjoy tinkering, it just make sure you know what you're doing with it before you
Yeah.
uh, use it. I mean, it's not too dangerous or anything. Uh, Nothing else on the Gherkins. We'll talk more when we hit them. 6-0 Sapphire. This is the only paddle that I hit with this week because I didn't want to mess up my stuff for my tournament. So 6-0 Sapphire, 140 retail to whatever that is, 126 with a discount code. 13 millimeter elongated thermoformed. Don't know what that was. Paddle from 6-0. So I think we're kind of like one of their first lower priced thermoform paddles.
Yeah.
Haven't hit with it too much. Feels pretty good. Has good pop. Still has pretty good power for a 13 millimeter. It has a good sweet spot. That's I think the swing weight was 111. So good for an elongated 13 millimeter. And I've never been too big a fan of thinner elongateds, but I did remember I did like the paddle techs from last episode. I forgot about those. Don't have it tested out in like some higher level games, so I don't know how the resets are. That the twist weight's a little low, 5.68 or something.
Okay.
But just like it feels pretty good. It felt soft for 13 millimeters so far, which I was surprised for. Looks cool. We'll get to that. It probably isn't going to get an individual review just because I don't think anyone released an individual review on it when it launched this past week. But if you're looking for a cheaper price paddle that's still a thermoform paddle from 6-0, I think it will fit the bill if you're looking for a really maneuverable. I think it's going to need weight on it just because I don't know what 13 millimeter doesn't really need weight. They usually do.
There's not that many 13 millimeter elongated. It's just like for thermoforms, it's just the Kiwi Cannon and Thrive Rush. I think they're the only two at the top.
That you've hit with, or just in existence.
I think in general for like a 13 millimeter thermoform, like a Gen 2.
I have
because like the
Pro XR.
Engage and Paddle Tech don't count, right?
No, they don't count. Pro XR.
Okay, I forgot about
and
that
one isn't that bad. It's just really expensive. Yeah, I like playing with that one. I actually played really well with that one. Resetting it and the stability are what always lacks. You have to add weight, and it just depends if you want to add weight. And then like you start adding weight to the 13 millimeter. I don't know. I think I'm still skeptical. Like if that's really a great way to build the elongated, but some people love thinner elongated. There still seems to be a market, but I think the market is like a lot smaller than other stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it depends on the pro players too, because like even like for like the Engage, they're all using that 13 millimeter, right?
Yes, I mean I think they're just trying to max on the pop. Is what I imagine. Like they really like a lot of them aren't driving. I mean they're driving, but like they're not relying on like super powerful drives, but it's just like those short strokes. That's where they want the max, and you can't really like increase the pop on your paddle. So I think that's why they're going for the thinner ones. Probably the maneuverability and the customization aspects too. Also, I think a lot of them, like, they get comfortable with the paddle and they don't like to change. I don't see people switching their paddles a lot in the pros.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, obviously, once you're with a line, like, you have to stay with your line's paddle, but still, I mean, they have variety. It's just like they seem to stick with their paddles. It would be interesting to talk to some pros and just see, like, do you try a lot of different paddles in your line, or is it just more like, well, I stick with my paddle. I need to, like, know what my paddle's going to do. That's more important than anything to me. So I am curious about that. All right. Moving on to the Chorus Fire update. So Matt, the owner of Chorus, does a really good job. He sends out these, like, email updates about what's going on. So I appreciate that. So for anyone looking for the Chorus Fires, and Chorus Fires are the new power paddles coming out from Chorus. Pretty excited about these. It sounds like they're going to be, well, let me just read the update and we'll talk about it. So the Chorus Fires are coming out November 30th. So busy paddle season November. Like, October was kind of slow. November's going to heat up. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got some more stuff to talk about, but, like, November is going to be busy. Probably everyone gearing up for the holiday season, but, like, some stuff got pushed back too. Anyway, it's going to be carbon polyglass, all flexible layup is what he says. The top layer is going to be an invisible thin fiberglass top sheet fused on, and I believe he's doing this because the peel ply sticks better and longer to fiberglass. I think that's what I heard. Go ahead and quote me. It's going to be a red carbon polyester weave. So that polyester weave, some people say titanium. So it's going to be, carbon fiber polyester / titanium, if you want to call it that. 14 millimeter wide cells in the polypropylene core. They're looking to target a 7.8 ounce weight. So pretty lightweight coming out for stock weight. And then target swing weight, we have 109. So they're doing 3 shapes now. They're doing the wide body, the hybrid, and the elongated. They're targeting 109 for the wide body for swing weight, 113 for the hybrid, and 116 for the elongated. Those are really good numbers if they get them. Nothing to complain about there. Those are all maybe actually most wide bodies have been coming out in that, like, 109, 110 range. It's just hard. Yeah. If you go lower, you just lose a lot of power. It's really not in, like, I know some people are like, I want the lowest swing weight possible. Like, you really don't. You really, like, you get diminishing returns the lower swing weight you go.
You just, like, don't notice that at some point too.
Yeah, and it also I don't know what the percentages of people that customize their paddle, but a lot of people don't customize it. And if you get this, low swing weight, no power paddle, they're just gonna think the paddle is not good. So the paddle does have to be pretty good stock these days to make sure people like it. So this is their introduction to their new shapes. Right now they just have they have some other shapes, but, like, they have their main hybrid shape. But now they're going to go with their official SX for their hybrid, their SX for their wide body, HX for their hybrid, and the EX for their elongated. I'm gonna get these pretty soon, and then I am going to we'll call Matt and tell him to get him to tickle too, so we can talk about these fires on air.
That's on me. I need to email him.
We'll see what we can make happen. And these are going to be $169.99 retail. Quick math was that come down to, like, $153 after discount. So pretty good price for power paddles, right? Like, all the other power paddles are like, what, $230 now? Paddle Tech's $224. Ripple's gonna be $230. Mods are, I don't even know what you get mods for. $270.
I don't even know. I've never bought one.
So basically everything's over $200. So if these come in at $153, $154, pretty good. And he's gonna have, like, a basic, and then in January he's gonna have, like, a basic thermoform paddle for $109, which will come down to under $100. So he's gonna have an under $100 budget paddle for thermoform.
I thought he already did, didn't he?
He did. I don't know if I don't know if it's thermoform, but I'm not sure. But I think this is, like, the introduction of all the shapes, his 3 shapes. So maybe that's what it's talking about.
Got it.
And then they're doing a super core in all the shapes, and that's going to be 120, and that's going to be a fiberglass carbon fiber. So I don't know what that's coming in February. More information to come on that. I'm not sure exactly. And then basically goes into a backstory of like how they came to it. Do you want to hear it, of how he arrived at the fire?
Up to you if you want to share it with people.
All right, let's go with the story.
Okay.
All right, so I'll just read it word for word. I went through a silly amount of prototypes and iterations and experiments over the past year. Some of you might remember that I started the process with an idea for an all Kevlar paddle from surface to core, but the real vision was something that had more power than the shapeshifter that I would use as my singles paddle. And I was willing to give up a little control. All the Kevlar and Aramid experience made some unique paddles for sure, but none of them felt right. They were just too stiff. He went down the foam core road, but wasn't sure if that was a good choice with the UPA and USAP being so vocal about their power ceilings. So probably a good choice there for him not to go down the foam road. Then he experimented with, now I'm paraphrasing just so no one, I'm not reading word for word anymore. Then he went down the road of like playing with the different, how do you say this? Experimenting with like 10 millimeter wide cell cores and 14 millimeter. He experimented with a whole bunch of stuff, different surfaces, different combinations, and then he landed on the titanium for the surface with the fiberglass on top and the titanium carbon fiber weave. Basically, he was looking for something that remained soft in the soft game, felt a little softer, and still had that power. So I'm very interested to see these. Oh, and then I got the shape dimensions here. I'll throw this up on the screen too for the viewers. But this is the SX is a 15.8 inch paddle length, and then it goes from 7.9 to 8.2. So all of these get wider towards the top. So that's cool. I like that a little bit, but I like it like not too much, like just a little bit of width going towards the top, not like a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then the hybrid shape is going to be 16.2 inches long, goes from 7.75 inches to 7.6, so not really like a huge difference there. And then the elongated standard 16.5 inches long width goes from 7.4 to 7.5. So I don't think so I think all these are unique shapes. I don't think any of these shapes exist right now. So that'll be interesting.
I guess for the elongate, that's similar to the new 6.0 paddle, the elongated one, because that one also has that little taper, right?
The Sapphire?
No, the
the double black diamond, but the elongated version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, I don't know. Yeah, it probably does, right? Since it's
probably something similar. I don't think probably not the exact dimensions.
No, yeah, it probably gets wider towards the top because that's what most of their paddles do. Also, to note, all the grip circumferences will be 4.25 inches, and the grip lengths will be 5.6 inches. It'll be interesting to see if that's a true 5.6 inches. I know everyone measures differently, but I think it will be on the longer side because it seems to be something that's pretty important for him. So we will see if that's how that measures up.
Yeah. Grip size is always like one of those, or handle length is one of those things that you always see it, but then you just kind of have to feel it on your own because it depends on the taper and how they measure it.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most inaccurate things on the website, I think.
I when I was doing my titanium paddle comparison, I realized the Neonic Flare titanium actually had like the most usable handle length. I think all of them had 5.5 inch handles listed. But surprisingly, that one had like the most usable room, which I didn't even realize at the time. But you would think like the Widebody wouldn't have that. But that'll be cool. I think that these shapes will be good for them. I'm really excited to get some more power paddles that are like Paddletech power level, but not as stiff and a wider sweet spot. I mean, for me, have you played with the ESQs or the Analytic Waters Widebody?
Yeah, I've hit those before. Yeah.
Like I'm fine with those, but the like the TKO and the TKOCs and the CXs, I just kind of moved away from them. Little too stiff for me, and It's not the sweet spot that I had such a problem with, but like just that stiffness was starting to hurt my elbow, and I think that really just drove me away from them. So if these are softer, have the same power level, maybe it sounds like maybe they'll have less pop, which I'm honestly okay with. And I think a lot of people will be okay with. You keep that at like a decent pop, but we'll see. I'm interested in them, and I'm interested in whatever 11624 comes out with their power. I think it's good to have all the shapes. I don't think anyone really has all the shapes right now for their power paddles. Everyone keeps forgetting the hybrid paddle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess 11624 does have the vapors coming out.
Okay, so they plan on releasing the power paddles and everything too.
That's what I'm not sure about yet.
I
Because I think I know,
probably,
but I think
though,
the
right?
plan might be to, yeah.
Yeah.
It would make sense for them.
But yeah, the hybrid is something that keeps getting left out, and as my like personal preference for shape right now, really it's just the Olympus.
Yeah, that's like the only one.
Yeah, it's really
the
the only
Lecto Red,
yeah.
the Gen 3.
Oh, that's a hybrid?
Yeah.
I have not hit that yet. But yeah, so I'm glad that I still don't understand why people are like the bigger companies don't really want to do the hybrids, but it's kind of crazy actually. If only they saw the poll I did a couple months ago where I asked what everyone's favorite shape was, and they saw.
Unless Dale's keeping them out, so we'll see.
Yeah, like I'm even surprised Ronbus doesn't have. They don't have a single hybrid shape in any of their lineup, yet, right?
Yeah, it's just the long. Well, actually, the original R1 Pulsar came in 2 lengths, and then one was the. Like, it wasn't the. It was the. They have the 16.5. It was the curved top.
Yeah.
And then they shortened the handle by 0.25 inches. So then it was actually 16.25 for total length. But it didn't have the flare.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was the original R1 Pulsar, but they didn't do that with the FX or the Ripples. So I don't know. Like, I just like preferred the elongated, or maybe Dong just didn't like the hybrids.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like when I talk to some owners, and I tell them every time, I'm like, if they ask me like anything, I'm just like, make sure you have a hybrid shape. Make sure you have a hybrid shape. And they're like, I don't really like hybrid. I'm like, does it matter what you like? Are you trying to make money and sell paddles? Because people love the hybrid shape. Anyway, but we actually, speaking of hybrid shapes, and now I'm talking about the Neonic Primes, the Prime X's, I should say. And these will have a hybrid power paddle shape in the Neonic Flow Prime X. So update on the Prime X's. If you've been waiting for these power paddles, the Flare Prime X, their wide body, is coming out November 5th. And the Flow Prime X, their hybrid, is coming out November 19th.
Yeah, I've got the Flare.
Yep, it's got the Flare. Here. I've got the Flare right here. I will be hitting this. Well, this is coming out Monday. I will be hitting it today. That's probably my next review. I don't know about you, Tickle. Is that your next one?
No, in the paddles I'm be hitting for a review.
October 20th? I don't know. Maybe I'll have another review before then.
Yeah. So I've got the Triple J Jubilee first.
Triple J Jubilee? Okay. Yeah, I guess I already penciled in the November was already here, but we still got 10 days. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about those. I'm going to hit the wide bodies right now since I've been hitting the Ronbus Ripple R2 a lot. I want to hit all the and I've hit the Paddle Techs. I want to hit all the wide bodies right now because, like you said, it takes me time to adjust, and I don't want to have to readjust back to these. So I'm hitting the wide bodies now. So it's great timing for me to hit the Flare Prime X. So I'm excited about that. And also,
did you hear the original Flare Prime?
I did. I didn't really like it. Did you try it?
Yeah, I actually kind of like that one better than the titanium one.
The titanium?
Yeah.
Interesting. Would you like?
I don't know. It was just me that day. I guess I was like liking that stiffer feel, but I was gelling better with that one.
So I only hit it like two times, and then he's like, "Oh, we're not gonna use that one." So I just I put it away. I'm like, well, I got a lot of stuff to do. So if you're not gonna make this, I'm not gonna play it anymore. But yeah, I don't even know if it's worth bringing the old one out because they're not selling it. So But it'll be
Yeah, I'm
interesting to
probably gonna bring
see.
the old one out to see like what the difference actually
Yeah,
is.
because
So that'd be
I
nice to
was
see.
very surprised when he's like, "This is a power paddle," and I went out there and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh no!" I was like, "This is not a power paddle. I hope you, I hope something's wrong,"
Mm.
because that was going to be an awkward conversation. But yeah, I'm excited about these. Been playing with Neonics for a long time. That was actually my first like Neonic Force was my first tournament
Yeah, now
paddle
you
in
know.
4.5.
Okay.
So been a long time Neonic user. And yeah, so we'll see about those. Hopefully we'll have hit. I mean, I plan on having hit it by next episode, so I'll give my first impression there, and we'll see what happens. Moving on to some Honolulu pickleball news. So people have, they've been wanting some Honolulu news. I don't have, too much news to share at the moment, but I do have some news about like a little bit of plans coming up in the future, and this has to do with their titanium. So they have the J2 Ti. Have you've played with the J2 Ti, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You do a review yet or no?
Yeah, I did like basically because you guys all did individual reviews. I just did like a
Oh yeah, you did
full
your
comparison.
J2 lineup or J2
Yeah.
lineup.
Yeah, just all J2s.
Okay, yeah, that's good. If you're looking to figure out which Honolulu J2 is right for you, check out Tickle My Pickles video. That was a good one. I forgot you did the comparison of all of those. And how many do they have in the J2 shape? Like different
Yeah.
variations.
Yeah, the original, the H, the K, Pro, and then the TI. So just 5.
Okay, wow, you got quite a bit. So they are going to have the TI in the J3 shape and the J7 shape. I think those are going to be pretty popular. I'm actually interested to try the J7 shape in the TI. I just wonder if I would like that a lot because I like the Shogun, so I assume I would like that too. You like the
Yeah.
Shogun too, right?
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
Shogun a
so
lot.
you might. It sounds like the J7 and the TI might be a good one for you.
Yeah.
And then I assume the J3 TI is going to be like a more of a control oriented paddle, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. I think that one's gonna be the toughest to stand out in my opinion because there's already the titanium neonic and then there's just a lot of wide bodies already
Yeah,
with like different surface materials.
yeah. Their J3 shape seemed like it wasn't as popular as like their J2 and J7.
Mm.
It's an interesting playstyle because like their J3 shape had a higher swing weight than their J2 shape.
Yeah, oh,
I
interesting.
believe. Don't quote me. Actually, yeah, it sounds about right. And then they're also coming out with 2 new shapes. So I don't know if this is. I think this is going to probably be more than the just titanium. I'm sure they'll have it in like Kevlar too. But I'm not 100% sure. They're going to have a J4 shape, which is going to be a super wide body. How super wide is it going to be? I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah.
I want to say it's going to be 8.5 inches wide. I think that's what you
Okay.
said once upon a time. So it'll be a very
25.
unique shape, and I'm not sure like whose play style it's going to be for. Like until that's going to be one I'm gonna have to get on the court to like play with. But
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
I'm hoping it tapers. This is gonna be weird,
Yeah,
like a little rectangle.
I know it's gonna look weird. So I'm interested to see that. I don't know if it really is 8.5 inches. I think that was like once upon a time like his plan. So we'll
Mm.
see like what actually comes out. But that would be interesting. I'm not sure what the widest wide body I've played with is.
Yeah, because like right now it's just like one of those that tapers out a bit. So like something like the Apollo or like the Mach 2 are probably just the widest ones we've seen.
Is that 8? And
Um,
those are those only 8.1, right? Like that's not
yeah, 8.1, 8.2. So
okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't think anything's like 8.3 right now, but I don't know if there's any way to search that easily. Yeah,
mhm.
I don't think so though, because it's not like we're not that far removed from like a wide like the only shape people are using like 16 by 8. Like people weren't actually making like wider than 8 inches. So I don't think there's really actually that many wider than 8 inches. So
Mhm.
that will be interesting to see. And then they have a J2X shape, and that's going to be the J2 with a longer handle. So maybe because that was maybe it'll be like 5.5, 5.6. So that'll be interesting to see because a lot of people do like that longer handle.
Yeah.
I actually think I might like that more than the J2K, J2Ti.
I think I'll definitely like that better than the J2Ks.
So that will be a good one. Yeah, like I think I will like that longer handle. That's probably the number one complaint I see about the J2K is the handle's too short. So I would assume that would fix the problem for those people. I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I'm fine bunching my hands up for the two-handed backhand. Putting the finger on the paddle if I have to. I'm pretty happy, like, pretty comfortable switching. But, like, I use a ton of paddles, so, like, I'm used to, like, having to adjust things. And so it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Did they say the handle length yet?
No,
Or?
didn't tell me the handle length.
Okay.
So we'll see on that. And I'm not sure what the date is for any of this stuff. I assume pretty soon, probably for at least like the J3 and J7 though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have for other paddle news. A lot of cool stuff coming up in November, and then you said you have the Triple J Jubilee coming up. I'm not really sure what's next for me at this moment. It's been a crazy busy like last 2 weeks for me. I was sick, had a lot of stuff going on with my kids. Was preparing for this tournament, so I was you go first. I want to talk about my tournament experience with the Ronbus Ripple R2. I can't believe I almost forgot. What else do you have coming up, Tickle?
Yeah, because gonna be hitting the Gherkins. Probably do a first look on that, and then again we can talk about that. If you're gonna be hitting it by next week.
Yep, I probably won't hit them all. Which one is calling your name?
Probably gonna do the Widebody just because I'll be hitting the Flare Prime X.
That makes sense. I mean, I'll do the same because I'm going to be hitting the Flare too, so that makes sense to hit.
And also, I hit this last week, the A11 and Empire. I hit it side by side with the.
Supposedly?
No, it is basically like a paint grit edgeless paddle, similar to like the Power Airs. There's no throat hole. So I hit it side by side with the Amped Pro Airs. I'll probably have like a first look on my channel, but it for $99, like it's not bad if you want like a Amped Pro Air alternative. That's I think pays a little bit better. Longer handle. It's fine.
Okay. Pretty low swing weight, I imagine.
That one, yes, but the Widebody had the same swing weight as the elongated.
Interesting.
But this one just played so much nicer. I think it was like a 115 swing weight.
Oh wow!
But it needed no tape on this thing. It was good.
Nice. All right.
But it's just if you like edgeless paddles,
you said
like
that's the design. Empire?
Yeah, A11N. Like I don't even know where this company is based out of. They do a lot of cheaper paddles. Okay. I think it's one of those like Chinese manufacturers.
Is that off of Amazon?
Yes, they are Amazon, and they also have like one of those like really weird looking websites where it's like not as nice looking as like the other companies.
Okay, so people probably are like a little skeptical to buy off the website, or
that's how I think. I think there's some of these companies do that marketing tactic where they say the price is one thing and they're like, oh, it's on sale for this, but then it's like it's always on sale for this. Like the sale price is their actual price. So this one.
I forgot which. There's definitely a company that does. I can't remember. I know it's kind of like Engage kind of does that, but not really. Like they do have sales, and it's not always on sale. Man, there's another company though that always had their paddle listed. I can't remember right now, but yeah, I don't really like when people do that, but I don't know. Maybe it's a marketing tactic that works, and they just have to do it.
Yeah.
Anything else before I get into talking about the Ripple tournament?
No, I'm looking forward to hearing about this Ripple experience.
Okay, so let's set the stage. This tournament starts at 8 a.m. this morning. Probably not my preferred start time. Like I don't mind playing at 8, like just for fun. But playing at 8 is hard because like you got to wake up, you got to try to eat, try to get ready, go to the bathroom, get all your stuff ready. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff you got to do to prepare for a tournament, and then drive there, and it drives like 20 minutes for me. So everything goes smoothly. I wake up. I'm not tired. I get there. Warm up. It's cold. I don't really do well when it's like I'm cold. I feel like my soft shots just are off. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people, but like it really affects me. So the way this tournament was set up, I'm using the Ronbus Ripple R2 right here. I've got.
Oh, is this indoor tournament?
This is indoor. Yeah, this isn't a dome. I've got it wrapped from here all the way around with tungsten tape, 0.5 grams per inch. I'm using the Bodhi tungsten tape and the Bodhi grips. These are like not too tacky, but just tacky enough. I've really enjoyed those. If you need to get any grips you're looking for them, check out the link in the description. What grips are you using these days?
Honestly, I use whatever the company send me.
Yeah, I've been looking. I just wanted to settle on a grip, like just so I could use. I like they have really cool colors too. Like they have. I mean, I like the Ripple because I can use the orange with it, because you can't really use this orange with too many paddles. They have a stone gray. I don't think I have my Olympus not nearby, but it really goes well with the Olympus, because the Olympus is a hard one to match your grip with. I think.
Yeah. The
stone gray works perfect with the Olympus. Really, the hardest paddle to match like a good grip color with. I don't know why the gold just doesn't match with a lot of stuff. So what is this? This is probably like a 115, 116 swing weight. I need to measure it. Comes in at like 103 stock. So I got quite a bit of weight on there. I wanted to test this paddle in like a competitive setting, just because I've played with the Olympus in tournaments, but I haven't played with like this extra hot Gen 3 in a tournament before. So I'm like, I got to test this out. It's a mixed tournament, 4-0 to 5-0, like, just kind of a smattering of different level players in it. And it's 12 teams, 2 groups, round robin. So go through get to my first game. We're doing okay. It's going back and forth. Really, just I'm having a hard time getting the feel with the paddle. This morning, it just it's not the paddle. It's just more me like getting cold. We fend off 4 match points at 10-9, and then we end up winning 12-10.
Oh, nice.
And ends up being that's the other team. So top 2 teams in the group stage get out. Just happened to be that was the team that got out with us. So we played each other, the hardest teams in the group, basically the first game, and it went, I guess, how you would expect it, a nice close game. After that game, I got cooking with the Ripple. I just started driving, when I could. It's kind of you never really know what you're going to get, because sometimes people will return to the guy so that they won't poach. Other times, if like my drive was pretty on, they weren't returning to me anymore because they weren't handling the drive too well. So I started poaching. The problem with poaching with this paddle is like you got to be careful how hard you swing. I'm sure you know that when you're playing the Ripple, it's like this thing can fly out very easily if you have the wrong angle or if you put too much on it. So I had to adjust with my poaches. I hit like 2 into the would be the fence, but this is in a bubble, so I hit the bubble twice, poaching on like some easy shots. But nothing too tough. The good thing about a power paddle, the best thing about a power paddle is when that ball's up, it's usually not coming back. Yeah. So that was a huge benefit, especially early, like as I'm warming up. Anything that's up, I'm taking and I'm just smashing it. And usually when I'm going for these overheads with the power paddle, I'm just going to the middle of the court for like my best percentage of getting the ball in and hitting it as hard as I can. With the power paddle, I don't go for the angles as much. Today especially, I was just hitting it, usually at the woman, because that's what you do at mix when you hit the overhead, usually, or just straight down the middle. And I was having really good success with it, with the overheads. It was feeling good. You can get some really great spin on these two on your drives. And I was actually, so one game we played a lefty guy. So he was in front of me most of the time, and I was actually dinking cross court. So that was actually good. I didn't usually don't get too much dinking in the mix for me. So I got to test out my dinking skills with the paddle in that game, and I didn't miss a dink, which is honestly crazy for me. I think I hit like, I don't know how many dinks I hit that game, but it was a lot more. It was probably like all the combined dinks I hit that day were less than I hit in that game. And I was on fire with the dinking with this paddle. Like so once you get that like stroke down with this, because you just have to like shorten your stroke. You can't, it has so much pop on it. Once you get used to that, you can really hit some nice controlled dinks with this paddle. And I think another area that I learned with this paddle is people are really surprised on your resets. And sometimes so I'll talk about two things. They're surprised on your resets because the paddle does so much work for you. I think they just don't understand that, like, when you don't move this paddle, the ball is still coming off really hot for the reset. And I did have a couple of resets that weren't like great resets, but it came off so hot and it like kind of just went by them. They weren't expecting it to come off so hot. And then in the counters, I think it's just because it has so much pop. People they don't respect the pop because I guess like the ripple isn't like mainstream yet, so they understand the mods, the gearboxes, those have pop. When people were speeding up at me, they're picking some bad spots, but like they kept doing it. The ball comes off this paddle so hot, if you don't hit a good spot, if you hit just like an easy counter or an easy speed up and you counter with this, the point's over. Do you experience the same thing? Like the counters with this are just too fast.
Also, like if you're not careful, your counter also just goes to the back of the fence.
That's like, another thing too. I did hit a couple counters out because it does come off so fast. My advice, if you're using the ripple, when you're hitting your counters, you really just don't need to move the paddle at first. Like you need to just kind of hone in, like maybe like tap it. But like, yeah, the ball comes off so fast on this paddle, like you don't need to move it much. You really, especially if they're speeding it up at you, the ball's probably already going fast enough. When it comes off your paddle, it's going to be a winner if you hit the counter. So it is hard to control. I think that this paddle, if you're going to try to play your best game, it really is suited for like 4 or 5 plus players, just like the mod and gearbox. I know that no one's going to listen to that. I'm just going to just at least like throw out my opinion there. But like if you really are looking for a paddle that has a ton of power and pop, and with the weight setup, like having it all around the head, sweet spot's huge. Stock, it's still okay, but like I think you want to add weight to this paddle to maximize it. And it just hits like a truck. So I think that, and I'll take back what I said. I don't think you need to be 4 or 5 plus. Like you can get used to this paddle. It's just like you really have to I think you have to main the ripples to really unlock their full potential, which you could say about any paddle, but like it's especially true about these paddles. Like you could switch between a whole bunch of thermoform paddles that are kind of similar, but if you're going to play the ripple, you really need to understand, like, it's just when you're hitting your resets and you're hitting your flicks and you're hitting your counters, it's so much different than like a non like Gen 3 foam paddle. You just really have to play with it and know not the limitations, but you have to know your limitations of what you can and can't do with it. Because you'll lose a lot of points just by hitting balls you would hit out because it has so much power and pop.
Because you just need to like control that swing more, like really focus a bit more on the fundamentals. Like on the counter, like you're not trying to hit that ball back straight at that person. You want to, angle it down because you're trying to win that battle by the angles, not necessarily through power itself.
Exactly.
Because you try to go power, you're not used to it. You're going to just hit that fence.
Exactly. So learn, I already knew this stuff, but it really like finalized it playing with it in the tournament, and then get through the round robin stage. Also, shout out to Carol, who I played with, played amazing. Like I think when you play mixed, the woman's shot, like the woman is under way more pressure, right? She's under more pressure. She's getting more drives hit at her. She's doing more work usually, and so she did great. So shout out to Carol for playing with me. In the semifinals, we got smoked. The guy, I forget his name, never played him before. He was on fire. Like, just every drive, back corner. Like, I think I let 3 drives go total in the game. Hits like the back corner every time, and I'm just like, most of the time they're gone. But he was on fire that game. We get smoked like 11-2. That was the format too. Like, we played to 11 in the round robin, and then in the medal rounds we only played to 11. Shouldn't it at least be the 15 or best 2 out of 3?
Yeah, usually it's 15, but it might have been like time restrictions or something.
Yeah, I just thought that was. I'm like, man, because anyway, it doesn't matter.
Was he using a power paddle too?
No, I think he was using actually a. I think he was using a power air.
Oh.
Maybe a power air, or what was the other one? The amped.
Yeah,
amped air. One of those two. It wasn't a Lux. It was a pink and black or whatever. So I'm sure they have the same colorways in all their paddles, but
yeah.
So yeah, not using a power paddle. It wasn't even that he was hitting it. It wasn't like hard. It's just like he was hitting low, dipping drives, and he was hitting his spots really well. Had a really good serve too that set up his drives. And that was the second place team from that other group. So I was like, wow, we got smoked by the second place team. Or are we about to get smoked by... I figured the team that we beat earlier that was playing the first place team was going to get smoked by them. Because I'm like, oh. But, the thing is, when someone's like all drive, no drop play style, which isn't how I play all the time, you can be inconsistent. So, I assume that's how they lost. It's like, you can't, even you watch the pros, you can't be that on fire driving like consistently like all day unless you're like all pro. Anyway, a game to 11, anything can happen. Congrats to them. They ended up actually winning the tournament, so great for them. Get out of that game, and I didn't touch the ball too much there. It was more me like watching balls go just because I thought they were out. So bad on me for that part. Get to the third place match, and we roll. They got off I think they were like 12-10 for their like semifinals match. So they played like a game that lasted like 30 minutes. Our game was probably over in like 6 minutes because the points were not long and we got beat bad. So they probably got off tired, and they had beaten the team that we lost to earlier. So like, who knows what's going on. We were on fire that game. I just let the ripple rip, and yeah, I was everywhere that game. Like, I just decided, I was like, I played a little too passive, I think, the game before, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather just go out. I'm going to be everywhere, and I was driving every ball to the middle, and I was trying to poach right after that, and there's not too many opportunities to speed up in mix. So, like, because you're not really getting any dinks to you as the man usually. So it's more like, how much can you drive? How much can you poach? And it's like the Ripple's one of the best paddles to have like drive and poach play style. So for mixed, I think the Ripple is great. For men's, I don't think it would be the best paddle for me. I think it's still like the Olympus or the J2K would be much better for me. We'll see. We're back on to testing a whole bunch of new paddles. But the Ripple stood up for mixed. I think I could use the Ripple again, especially the R2 shape. It performed very well. It's got elite spin. It's got the elite power and pop. And it probably has the best sweet spot of any power paddle on the market, especially with that weight setup. So whenever it comes out, if you're looking for that, I tested it in a tournament setting now. It's got my stamp of approval. I just hope that they have it figured out, because I have heard more paddles are getting hot. I know there was like an issue with the first batch that they had, and they've been working on the manufacturing process. So I don't know. I'm still kind of skeptical of like these foam filled cores that are like so the Olympus uses a different type of foam. I think that I don't know if Ronbus uses the same type of foam that the mods use, but this foam that like expands a little bit over time with use, I think is always going to like end up breaking down.
Yeah.
So like, but I guess it just shows like people don't care. They're like, hey, if this paddle performs really well, I'll deal with the durability issues. I don't know if that's, if people are okay with that, but I know people keep buying the mods even though they know they break. So maybe they'll keep buying the ripples if they break over less time. I don't know. What do you have any concerns about the durability of the ripples going forward?
Yeah, I guess it really depends on the new releases, because I know for the previous ones, like those have been hot.
Yeah.
Like, there are a few ambassadors in my area that they're like you hit my ripple and you hit like theirs, and they've been using it for a long time. You can just hear the sound difference. Like people
Gotcha.
just think it's two completely different paddles, but they're the same ones. Because I think I have like the alphas or something, or no, he had the alpha, and then he like his was just so bad he had to just get a warranty because it was just way too hot. But
Yeah.
hopefully they fix that.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's like, I don't know if it's like you can permanently fix that just because of the amount of foam that you have to put in the core. But we'll see. So they perform really well. I don't know, like the durability issues, if they'll ever be solved, or if they'll be solved well enough for like, hey, you can get performance out of this for at least 6 months. And I think if people knew that going in, that you could only use it for 6 months before it broke, I think they would still buy it just because, if the paddle's good enough, people will spend the money.
Plus, like the surface is gonna wear down too. So
that's true too. Yeah, the grit's gonna wear down. If the grit wears down before the paddle breaks, I think people would be okay with it. It just depends what you're looking for. But I think the people looking for these power paddles are people that are usually looking for, like they're playing a ton. They're looking for top tier performance. They're playing tournaments. I mean, I know some people, like some people, if they can't generate power on their own, they are looking for these power paddles too. So it just depends. But like, and those people probably break the paddle less. The people that already are hitting hard seem to be the people that are breaking the paddles faster. So if you're not that person, if you're not like you already know you're not a big power hitter, you probably won't break the paddles as fast. The people that hit them hard already really do break them faster.
yeah.
Anything else on ripples or tournaments in general? Anything?
No, nothing on the ripple for me. I actually haven't hit it in a while,
Okay.
just because figured I'm guessing you also don't really know when they're gonna be released
I
yet.
do
either,
not,
right?
but I'm gonna record my review because I'm like, I can't keep dragging this along. So I'm gonna record my review, and whenever he wants to let us know. Last I heard, it was November sometime, so it's coming around the corner.
Okay, got the footage. I just need to edit everything.
Yeah, I mean,
But we'll
I'm just
see.
gonna record the review. I haven't had anything like this where it's been dragged out so long before. I think the original date was like early September, so I don't know.
Actually, the original.
Oh, like the
When he
16
was
millimeter one, or the
well, I guess it was like technically that one, but like he had the ripple in the works around the same time as he was making the R1 Pulsar, like the
Okay, yeah, I
original
know the
one.
ripple has been
Yeah,
a myth for a long time. Like it's been
yeah,
a legendary story. If you're on the Pickleball Studio Discord, it's been
yeah.
talked about for a very long time. I honestly didn't think it was ever gonna happen, but it happened.
But yeah, nothing else for me. So
Yeah, nothing else for me. And is there anything else you wanted to talk about that you have coming up, or is it just the Triple J Jubilee right now that you're thinking about?
yeah, just that, and then doing some first looks. Got that Empire, the Ant Pro Air, and just some of these Amazon paddles, and just getting them all out of the way at once.
I hear you. Um, yeah, I might do some kind of like roundup soon too. Like just I got like the reload. I forgot what it's called now. The reload though. You know what I'm talking about? The removable
Yeah.
grit.
Yep.
It's called. Is it just called reload?
I just call it the reload because
Yeah,
they only have one
I think
paddle,
the
right?
paddle
Yeah.
has a name, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
I need to hit that. The sweet spot. What is it?
The
Sweet
Enhance,
Spot
yeah.
Pro from Enhanced Pickleball. Have you tried that?
Yeah.
You did a review on it, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean it's just a solid
Yeah.
thermoform elongated. There's a lot of them. So
What else do I need to hit? Probably a little bit more of the 6-0 Sapphire. There's some random other stuff. And then also, if you are, so like if you're looking, you're like, oh, I got all these paddles, but if you are looking for like the best pickleball training tool, I really think the Dink Master Pro is probably like the best thing you could get for your house. It's been great for me just because I have to test all these paddles. But honestly, I've been working on like my dinking and speed ups on it, and I've been on point in the tournament and just games recently with it, just because like you can get so many reps in with it.
Yeah.
I think it really has helped me a lot. Have you been hitting your Dink Master Pro?
Yeah, I just try to only do it like in the middle of the day.
Okay.
I just don't want to bother my neighbors because I'm in a bit of like a pipe stem, like off a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So it's not like too much sound travels around here. So I know when I'm hitting it, like everyone can hear me. So I just gets too self-conscious with it. But yeah, I've got it set up in my garage.
Fair
It's
enough.
been
I don't
nice.
care. I guess I don't care about my neighbors. No. I know my neighbors pretty well, and they can get a little loud too. And my kids are already loud, so like, just add more noise. Like, come at me. The only problem I've had is I've hit a few balls in my neighbor's yard, and I just told them it's gonna keep happening. So I'm just gonna come get them, and because there's a fence there. But yeah, I have thought about the noise, but I guess I haven't cared. The dinking doesn't make too much noise though.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I guess it just echoes a lot because it's set up in my garage right
Okay.
now.
Well, you could wheel it
My
out when you're using it, right? You wheel it out into the driveway.
Well, mine's like kind of slanted downwards, so then I would be
Oh,
hitting
okay. So you
upwards.
couldn't. My bad. I didn't even think about that. Well, I don't know then. I think you should
Yeah, I
just.
could just put it in the middle of the road
I
and then,
think you should invite your
watch
neighbors
me.
over. You're like, hey, whenever I'm using my Dink Master, you can come over and we can do dinking drills together.
Yeah.
It's an open invitation, so you can't complain. But yeah, I get you. Like I use it in like 5-10 minute spurts because you actually do get like a pretty good workout if you're like doing forehand to backhand dinks. So I only do it in like little increments here and there anyway. But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
Like it is expensive, but if you're paying like $250 already for a new paddle, this is going to last you a lot longer than that new paddle, and I think it'll give you more enjoyment than the new paddle over the long term.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything else. Any final words for you, David?
Nope. Good on my side.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to episode 5. Thank you for joining me, David. Everyone, have a great week. If the weather is good where you are, I think there's pretty good weather across the U.S. this week, hopefully. At least here in Michigan there is. But have a good rest of your week and a good start to your week. Go play some pickleball.